moment of hope and change. The world's eyes were on the Vatican. It was 2025, and the Catholic Church was waiting for its next pope. The seat was empty, and anticipation filled the air. In the Philippines, many were hoping, could this be the moment Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle would become the first Asian pope? But it wasn't meant to be. Instead, the Church chose Cardinal Robert Prevost, who became Pope Leo XIV. His selection caught many by surprise. While respected, Prevost wasn't seen as a top contender. But his calm presence and deep experience spoke volumes. The cardinals were clearly looking for someone steady, someone who could bring unity during challenging times. This essay takes you inside that historic moment. It looks at why Prevost was chosen and what qualities helped him stand out. It also highlights the continuing impact of Cardinal Tagle, whose influence remained strong even without the papal title. In the end, this story is about faith, change, and the lasting legacy of two remarkable church leaders. A time for decisions. The cardinals gathered in Rome, each one aware of the immense responsibility ahead. Inside the Sistine Chapel, they prayed and reflected, knowing the decision they made would shape the future of the Catholic Church. The conclave was held in deep secrecy. No news from the outside world could enter. Each cardinal came carrying the hopes of their home countries and the duty to choose a leader for more than 1 billion Catholics. It wasn't an easy choice. The Church faced big challenges: growing secularism, internal disagreements, and the need for renewal. The cardinals spoke quietly, formed alliances, and weighed their options carefully. They were looking for someone who could bring both clarity and calm in uncertain times. At first, no single candidate stood out. But as the voting continued into the second day, one name began to rise again and again: Robert Prevost, a shepherd from the Midwest cardinal. Robert Prevost wasn't known for grand gestures or attention-seeking. Instead, he stood out for his quiet wisdom and strong leadership skills. Born in Chicago, Illinois, his path to becoming pope was anything but predictable. Originally trained in mathematics, Prevost felt a deep calling to serve God. He joined the Canons Regular of St. Augustine and spent over 20 years as a missionary in Peru. This life-changing experience gave him a close connection with people from different backgrounds and a strong sense of the Church's global mission. As time went on, his gift for leadership became clear. He took on important roles within his religious community and later worked in the Vatican's Congregation for Bishops, a department that helps oversee the appointment of bishops worldwide. He earned a reputation for being fair, organized, and deeply knowledgeable about church law. Prevost's unique appeal. As the conclave continued, Cardinal Prevost began to stand out as someone who could bring the Church together. He was respected by both traditionalists and reformers. For those focused on spreading the faith, his long years as a missionary were inspiring. For those wanting order and clear direction, his experience as an administrator was reassuring. He seemed to be a bridge between different sides of the Church. People saw in him a leader who could listen, understand various perspectives, and still stay true to the core teachings of the faith, all while engaging with today's changing world. When he was elected Pope and took the name Leo XIV, it was a signal that the Church wanted not dramatic change, but steady and thoughtful leadership. With his calm, approachable style and deep understanding of the Church's needs, Prevost was seen as exactly the right person for the job. A shining light, awaiting his time cardinal. Luis Antonio Tagle was a bright and hopeful figure, a man many believed was destined for even greater things. In many ways, he was the opposite of Cardinal Prevost. Where Prevost was quiet and steady, Tagle was warm, charismatic, and deeply passionate. He combined sharp theological insight with a deep love for the poor. His supporters believed he could bring powerful, meaningful change to the Church. Tagle's rise was extraordinary. At just 50 years old, he became the Archbishop of Manila. He quickly gained a reputation for being close to the people, humble, kind, and always focused on justice and compassion. His ability to connect with people from all backgrounds earned him admiration far beyond the Philippines. Even though he was not elected pope, Cardinal Tagle's influence remained strong. He continued to speak out for the voiceless, bringing attention to the struggles of the poor and marginalized. His wisdom, empathy, and ability to touch hearts made him one of the most beloved figures in the Church. Acceptance and enduring faith. When the news broke that Cardinal Prevost had been chosen as the new pope, the mood in the Philippines was a mix of hope and heartache. Many had dreamed of seeing the first Asian pope, but alongside the disappointment was deep respect for both Prevost and the Church's decision. The Filipino people, known for their unwavering faith, responded with grace. They pledged their full support to Pope Leo XIV and trusted in the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Unity and humility remained at the heart of their response. Though the dream of a Filipino pope was set aside for now, pride in Cardinal Tagle remained as strong as ever. His journey continues to inspire, not just in the Philippines but around the world. To many, he remains a symbol of hope, compassion, and the enduring power of faith. A world welcomes Pope Leo XIV. The election of Pope Leo XIV made waves across the global Catholic community. People had different reactions, reflecting the diversity within the Church itself. Many saw Cardinal Prevost's election as a positive sign of stability and calm leadership. Others, especially those hoping for bold change, felt a bit let down. In Latin America, where Prevost had spent many years as a missionary, there was a strong sense of pride. His election felt like a nod to the growing importance of the region in the life of the Church. In Europe, opinions were mixed. Some worried that he might be too traditional. Others hoped he could guide the Church wisely through uncertain times. Across the globe, most Catholics adopted a "let's wait and see" attitude. To many, Pope Leo XIV was still a bit of a mystery. But his early words as Pope, focusing on unity, open dialogue, and helping the poor, were met with cautious hope. People began to sense that maybe this quiet leader could bring the Church together. Tagle's enduring legacy, a beacon of hope. Even though Cardinal Tagle wasn't chosen as Pope, his influence remained deep and far-reaching. He continued to be a strong voice for justice and compassion, standing up for the poor and reminding the Church of its true mission. Tagle's impact went far beyond titles. He was a living example of what it means to serve with humility and love. He showed that the Church's work doesn't stop at its doors. It reaches out to those on the margins, to people often forgotten by society. His voice still rang out clearly in the Church and beyond. He challenged leaders and faithful alike to be more inclusive, more understanding, and more connected to the world's real struggles. For many, Cardinal Tagle remained a symbol of hope, a reminder of the kind of Church the world truly needs. United in faith, embracing the future. Under Pope Leo XIV. The election of Pope Leo XIV marked not just a change in leadership, but a powerful turning point for the Catholic Church. It came at a time when many Catholics were feeling uncertain, divided by opinions, overwhelmed by the rapid changes in the world, and longing for a sense of spiritual direction. Pope Leo XIV's election brought with it a chance to begin again, to heal, reconnect, and refocus on what truly matters: the message of Christ's love, mercy, and hope. Though not everyone's first choice, especially for those who hope to see Cardinal Tagle take the papacy, Pope Leo XIV represents something equally valuable: a steady and thoughtful presence. He steps into a church that is incredibly diverse, spanning cultures, languages, and generations. Bringing unity to such a vast global community is no easy task. But it's clear that his calm nature, missionary background, and deep faith give him the tools to lead with humility and strength. Now is a time for Catholics everywhere to come together, not in uniformity, but in shared purpose, to renew their faith and support the Church's mission in a modern, often confusing world. Under Pope Leo XIV's leadership, there is hope for a church that listens more, loves more, and reaches farther into the lives of those who feel forgotten or left behind. This new chapter is not just about one man in white robes. It's about all of us, united in faith, walking forward together. With trust in the Holy Spirit and the strength of community, the Catholic Church can move ahead, stronger, more compassionate, and more faithful to the teachings of Christ than ever before. While many Catholics had high hopes that Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle would become the next pope, especially in Asia, the decision to elect Pope Leo XIV brought a mix of emotions. Tagle had captured the hearts of millions with his humility, compassion, and inspiring vision for the Church. Naturally, some felt a sense of loss when he wasn't chosen, but the time had come to look forward, not backward, to come together as a global church and support the new leader God had placed at its helm. Pope Leo XIV accepted the role of pope during a period when the Catholic Church was under immense pressure. Internally, there were divisions over how to approach modern issues, how to interpret tradition, and how to keep the Church united in the face of differing beliefs and practices. Externally, the world was changing at an incredible pace, with rapid developments in technology, shifting cultural values, and growing questions about the Church's role in society. It was not an easy moment to lead, but it was exactly the kind of moment that called for a calm, thoughtful, and spiritually grounded leader. Pope Leo XIV might not have been the most expected choice, but he brought with him decades of experience, a heart for service, and a deep understanding of the Church's global challenges. In times like these, faith is not just about individual hopes. It's about trust in God's plan and unity in purpose. While disappointment is natural, the Church is called to rise above division and walk forward together. With prayer, patience, and a shared commitment to love and truth, Catholics around the world can help build a stronger Church under the leadership of Pope Leo XIV. Although Pope Leo XIV stepped into leadership during a challenging time, he also inherited something truly powerful: a Church rooted in centuries of deep faith, rich traditions, and an unshakable hope for the future. Despite the struggles it faced, the Catholic Church remained alive with the prayers of the faithful, the strength of its history, and the desire of its people to see it thrive again. That spirit, though tested, was not broken. The journey ahead would not be simple. The Church needed healing, renewal, and a renewed sense of direction in a world full of distractions, doubts, and divisions. But even though the challenges were great, they were not impossible to overcome. With steady hands and a faithful heart, Pope Leo XIV had the opportunity to lead with something greater than just strategy or policy. He could lead with humility, courage, and deep trust in the Holy Spirit. These are the qualities that true spiritual leadership demands: humility to listen, courage to act, and faith to believe that transformation is possible. Pope Leo XIV wasn't just handed a role, he was given a mission. That mission wasn't about fame or power, but about rekindling the light of Christ in a world that desperately needs it. If guided by love and truth, the Church could once again become a beacon, not just for Catholics, but for all people searching for meaning, mercy, and connection. Through unity, compassion, and the timeless message of Jesus Christ, Pope Leo XIV had the chance to help the Church step boldly into a brighter future, one that continues to inspire hearts and bring hope across every corner of the globe. For more inspiring stories and thoughtful reflections, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, God Always.